B-A-U-H-A-U-S, the Bauhaus. The Bauhaus was a German school of art and design developed in the 1910s by a man named Gropius.
Gropius could be fun, friendly, and a little serious.
Now the Bauhaus was in Germany, and as we can see, it's nestled right in between France and Poland, and it's got a quaint little spot in Europe. It's also the home of Schnitzel, Oktoberfest, a whole lot of really good beer, and BMWs. Within the nation of Germany, the Bauhaus, such a tongue twister, had 3 different locations. By the way, the Bauhaus means house of building. Location number 1 was Weimar, where it was from 1919 to 1925. Gropius then moved it to Dessau when it got really popular, and this is considered its golden age. It was there until 1932, and from 1932 to 33 it was in Berlin. Then, in 1933, mean Adolf Hitler shut it down. We'll get back to him later. One of the most important things to remember about the Bauhaus is when it existed. The Bauhaus was formed and developed between the wars, between both world wars. This is known as the interwar period. Europe had just gotten out of devastating World War I and was on its way to the even more devastating and tragic World War II, where, of course, we enter the age of atomic bombs, and then we get to, of course, mean Adolf Hitler and his Nazi regime and mass genocide. The intent of Gropius's Bauhaus was to merge creativity and manufacturing. Gropius believed that all artists were exalted craftsmen. He also felt that craft and workmanship had been lost in the age of technical reproduction. Throughout its existence, the Bauhaus hired working artists throughout Europe to be faculty at its school. They included people of mixed medias, including Maholy Nagy, Joseph Albers, Wassily Kandinsky, Paul Klee, and many others. Two of the most notable members of the Bauhaus were Mies van der Rohe, an architect whose building philosophy was less is more. In addition, second architect Le Corbusier, who was a major architect involved in a style known as the International Style, that very much emulated the ideas of Mies van der Rohe and was all clean, functional lines, very much like the work of the Bauhaus, like posters and chairs, teapots and dishes. Also, other things for the house, like shelves and furniture, and especially architecture, like Gropius's famous Dessau Bauhaus structure. In 1933, Hitler, despising any and all things good, closed down the Bauhaus. He was really unhappy because he didn't get into art school. By far, the biggest contribution that the Bauhaus made to the history of art education is its curriculum. Wait a minute, this is in German. I can't understand it. Give me an English one. Okay, that's better. Whew. That German was scary. Gropius designed this circle diagram chart to explain the Bauhaus's curriculum. Essentially, the outermost circle is the preliminary courses, also called the foundation courses. These courses are today emulated by multiple art and design schools across the nation. Moving to an easier-to-read version of the Bauhaus curriculum, as you can see from the foundation year, which was only actually half a year, students would then go on for 5 additional years of training, in which they would learn different materials, techniques, focus on multiple principles and elements of art and design, and eventually move into 2 years of becoming a trained architect. Now, we must remember the time period in which the Bauhaus existed. Europe had just gotten through World War I, which had catastrophically destroyed a large amount of its buildings. So, to the Bauhaus, they felt that training their students to be architects was the best way that they could contribute to the rebuilding of their continent. It was the most functional art form, and it made the most sense for the time period. After Hitler shut down the Bauhaus, Gropius moved to the USA, home of hot dogs, baseball, and Harvard University, where Walter Gropius became a professor of architecture. Once Gropius was in America, he did not fail to notice the shortcomings of American art education in schools. Gropius began to write several articles in which he described a program in which students would grow concentrically, like the annular rings of a tree, embracing the whole from the beginning and at the same time gradually deepening and extending it. Does this sound familiar to you? It does to me. The impact of the Bauhaus, Walter Gropius, Mies van der Rohe, Le Corbusier, and all other important faculty will never be forgotten in art education because of their innovative curriculum in art education. We still see the influence in furniture and architecture, and heck, even our own president-to-be designed his poster to look very Bauhausian when he visited Germany.